All right, after Imran Khan lost the no-trust vote, political drama in Pakistan's National Assembly continues. Just yesterday, in a late-night political drama, Imran Khan lost the no-trust vote. By 174 votes, he was voted out of power, making Khan the first Pakistani Prime Minister to be voted out through a no-confidence motion. After a core committee meeting chaired by Imran Khan, PTI has now raised objections on Shehbaz Sharif's nomination papers. Fawad Chaudhry has threatened that PTI would resign and launch a massive campaign if at all Shehbaz Sharif's nomination papers are not rejected. Chaudhry has also said that the only solution to the current situation or the current crisis is another round of elections. Meanwhile, PML-N leader Shehbaz Sharif and PTI Shah Mahmood Qureshi both filed nomination papers for post of Prime Minister that have been accepted.
कोर कमेटी की रिकमेंडेशन ये है कि वज़ीर-ए-आज़म इमरान खान को उन्होंने ये कहा है कि हमें असम्बलियों से मुस्ताफ़ी हो जाना चाहिए और उसके लिए हम कौमी असम्बली से शुरू कर रहे हैं। अगर शहबाज शरीफ के कागजात के ऊपर हमारे ऑब्जेक्शंस नहीं होते तो कल ही हम ये रेजिग्नेशन जो है वो दे देंगे। आज रात को पार्लिमानी कमेटी का पार्लिमानी पार्टी का इजलास यहीं बनिगाला में तलब कर लिया गया है। पार्लिमानी पार्टी में ज़्यादातर इस्तीफ़े वो पहले ही प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब को दे चुके हैं।
All right, now the opposition parties in Pakistan have nominated Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz as their joint candidate for Prime Minister elections. Shehbaz Sharif's brother Nawaz Sharif is likely to take over as the next, in fact, Shehbaz Sharif is the brother of Nawaz Sharif, and Shehbaz Sharif is likely to be taking over as the next Pakistan Prime Minister. And Imran Khan, of course, in an embarrassing moment, was voted out through a no-confidence motion, becoming the first Prime Minister in Pakistan's history to be pushed out of power through a no-trust vote. Here's more on what transpired.
This is Shehbaz Sharif. The leader of opposition and chief of Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz. A hardcore realist who makes no bones while performing onerous tasks. Sharif is little known outside Pakistan, but has a reputation domestically as an effective administrator. The PML chief is now the frontrunner to become Pakistan's next Prime Minister after the ouster of Imran Khan. Following the submission of nomination papers on Sunday, Sharif is likely to be elected as the Prime Minister on Monday. Shehbaz, the 70-year-old younger brother of former three-time Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, has served as Chief Minister of the country's most populous and politically crucial Punjab province thrice. This is the first time his party, PML-N, especially its supremo Nawaz Sharif, agreed on his name for the post of the Prime Minister. Nawaz's daughter and PML-N Vice President Maryam Nawaz, groomed to be Nawaz's successor, has said her uncle is a man who has served the nation selflessly and tirelessly. In September 2020, Shehbaz was arrested by the anti-graft body National Accountability Bureau on charges of money laundering. Shehbaz denied the charges and termed them as political victimization by the Imran Khan government. He remained in jail for several months before he got bail. Shehbaz's son Hamza Shehbaz is the leader of opposition in the Punjab Assembly. Hamza is also contesting the Chief Minister election against the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf coalition candidate Parvez Ilahi. His younger son Sulaiman Shehbaz has been absconding in the United Kingdom for the last few years in a money laundering and unaccounted wealth case. Analysts say that the PML chief, unlike Nawaz Sharif, enjoys amicable relations with Pakistan's military, which traditionally controls foreign and defense policy in the nation of 22 crore people. If the leader is elected to power, all eyes will be on how Shehbaz steers Pakistan out of its massive economic crisis. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, this is in fact a big moment for Pakistan. The first time in Pakistan's history, a Prime Minister, Imran Khan, has been voted out through a no-confidence motion. A massive embarrassment that's come down to the PTI, and of course a big victory for the united opposition, whose Shehbaz Khan, the leader of the PML-N, might possibly be the next Prime Minister of Pakistan. We have panelists joining us. Sadia Khan, who's the leader of the PML-N, joining us along with Farid Malik, PTI ideologue, to give us perspectives. I'll start with you, Farid. PTI right now is pushing for Shah Mahmood Qureshi. In fact, this has come as a massive embarrassment for the PTI because they lost on the trust vote. They hoped that they would go into fresh round of elections as per the Speaker's views, but the Supreme Court also struck down that mandate, asking for a no-confidence motion, asking for PTI and Imran Khan to face it. At a time like this, when Imran Khan has been pushed out of power, Imran appeals to the people of Pakistan to come together in a huddle to protest against this alleged trampling of democracy. Should not Imran Khan take this mandate more gracefully than what he is currently?
I have repeatedly said on your channel also that the parliament in Pakistan
All right, I'm going to cut through to Farid Malik right after his connection is fixed. But in the meanwhile, Sadia Khan, Sadia, you know, as much as the united opposition claims victory at this moment, your own leaders are not far away from allegations of corruption. There are several allegations of large-scale corruption. We know the kind of trial that Nawaz Sharif, Shehbaz Sharif's brother, is facing. He's currently in exile. At a time like this, the united opposition cannot claim victory. Would you agree so?
Well, they have been facing these trials. They were victim of Imran Khan's wrong policies, and he used National Accountability Bureau, NAB, FIA, judiciary against leadership of PML, and they have faced jail, they were imprisoned, they have faced cases, and still their cases are pending in court. So we never denied that we are not going to face cases. We will be facing, and the truth is who is wrong and who is right, that will come in limelight. And then Imran Khan's tenure, as he was accusing and criticizing everybody over corruption, and then he framed many such charges which have nothing to do with the reality of a noble person like Shehbaz Sharif. But unfortunately, he was victim of his revenge politics. He had been facing it throughout 4 years of Imran Khan's tenure. But hopefully will be clear from all these charges, because all the cases were made against him by state. You can see that he has used foreign hands for this purpose as well. Then let me forget the name of the guy. But the charges he framed against him in international court, and the person he had asked for forgiveness from Shehbaz Sharif and Nawaz Sharif's family, that I could not search any proof of accusing them of their corruption and money laundering towards England and any other country.
No, so if at all, you know, Sadia, I'd like to ask you, and I think we've heard Shehbaz Sharif speak on those lines too. If at all Shehbaz comes to power, what happens to the cases against his brother, Nawaz Sharif?
Well, the Nawaz Sharif's case is still in court, and we are facing hearing of his court. I mean, it will move according to judicial system. We are not going to get any favor in case Shehbaz Sharif will be Prime Minister of Pakistan. We are not asking for any favor. We never asked for NRO from Imran Khan, so nobody should expect that we will ask NRO from Shehbaz Sharif. Mia Nawaz Sharif is facing cases. Maryam Nawaz has faced cases. She was jailed, she was imprisoned, and he was even not in active politics. But she still faced jail. She accepted court this year. She was under detention for some long time. Even when her mother passed away, she was hardly allowed to visit her home just for a few days.
So you're saying no favors done. This will go as per law. Cases against Nawaz Sharif will go as per law, no favors done. But all those allegations of corruption against many of your party leaders, like for example, Imran Khan almost gives out a clarion call to the people of Pakistan, asking for people to come out and condemn this corrupt opposition. saying that y'all have horse traded. A lot of money has been exchanged to buy out a lot of the supporters of the PTI. A lot of corruption that prevails amongst many of your leaders, and because cases were pursued against many of them, y'all tried to conspire with foreign forces to throw him out. These are allegations. How would you like to steer clear from that?
See, Imran Khan asked his party supporters day before yesterday in his last address to nation. He asked them to they should come in state and go for peaceful protest, which is not possible at all. You see, youth is very emotional. They're very passionate. If you're asking them, if you're provoking them, come in states, and we should protest against this no confidence movement. He did not ask for the corruption cases. He said, come in states and you should oppose opposition's alliance against me. You should oppose their no confidence movement against me. He has not left any card to play. When he was the only thing left, he said you should come in state. But this is very nonsense statement by Imran Khan. He should not call them to come in state. There can be riots, there can be bad law and other situations. It can be worse. But still, security forces were prepared for that. You can see yesterday in Islamabad, there were lots of security deployed over there, so nobody was allowed to come in red zone area. And
so you fear that Imran Khan is trying to instigate a law and order situation, and this is a serious matter of concern.
He has played every card. See, he has played every card. Like he stopped his Speaker National Assembly not to conduct vote of confidence against him. He should not go for voting. It was delayed 3-4 times, and even it was like 11:30 p.m. at night when voting started again. And not by his speaker, not by his district speaker, because they have already resigned. They said we won't violate constitution. We'll go according to the decision of Supreme Court. We will not go. We will not go into contempt of court. So definitely they have to resign at the moment. And Imran Khan said 2 of his cabinet ministers to Speaker Chamber, and they asked them, "You are ally of Imran Khan for past several years. Don't go against his will. This is order of Prime Minister office that you should not conduct voting." But Speaker said, "No, I won't go for against contempt of court. I'm going to resign," and he resigned. This is a sensible thing that members of his party did. But Imran Khan was at every cost trying to save his chair. He was like avoiding to face this low confidence movement against him. In fact, he is a man full of prejudice. That was very unfortunate. He did not care of his sensibility and seriousness of his seat as a Prime Minister of Pakistan. He could not behave like a responsible person. What's harm in that? Politics is a game of win and lose. Even if you lose in Parliament,
so take it gracefully. That's your view on that. But Farid Malik, here, as you hear Sadia says, Imran Khan, a sore loser, and not just is he embarrassing himself, but also bringing out the public of Pakistan to the streets and creating a law and order situation. This amounts to national security threat. Are your people, are your supporters coming out? Are you still going to be protesting at 8 p.m. tonight as per Imran Khan's clarion call that he made just 2 days ago, asking for people to come out in large numbers, condemning this coup in his view?
At 9 p.m. tonight, let me correct you.
Okay, so it's happening.
And also you have to understand that we cannot let the country go to dogs. We cannot let the country be taken over by thugs, thieves and money launderers. Nawaz Sharif was excused went to Saudi Arabia under an agreement with the last military dictator. Then they took an NRO to come back. They're on bail. Nawaz Sharif is on bail. Shehbaz Sharif is on bail. Mariam is on bail. We cannot let the country go to thugs and thieves to plunder and loot, which they've been doing for the last 40 years. So naturally, we want to save Pakistan from them. And we will come on the streets. There will be protests. There will be peaceful protests. Elections is the only way forward. There's no other way. There's no confidence move was ill-timed, illegitimate. Imran Khan was elected for a term of 5 years. People are not on.
All right. I'm going to try and patch his connection again. But, I'd like to ask you, Sadia Khan, we know very well that the fate of Imran Khan as he's pushed to the corner. He's in fact been forced out of power here. Happened after he had a fallout with the army general. Would you believe that Shehbaz Sharif now is going to be aligned with the army and what the army wants? Are you going to be working and functioning in tandem with the army? Because the people of Pakistan have been eagerly wanting for a government that's independent of a control from the army. In fact, the army ideally should be, let's not get to that. But will Shehbaz Sharif be towing the line of the army? Is that what you've decided?
Well, none of the democratic elected government in Pakistan is controlled by army. But of course, there is support of army available because when sovereignty of the country is involved, all the organizations, if it's army, if it's government, they are on one page. Even opposition is on one page. So, there is no question that army is going to control this democratically elected government. But yes, army is there. They will support the Rashid government, inshallah. They support all the right policies which will be forming for prosperity of Pakistan. And, Imran Khan has enjoyed a good support of army throughout his tenure. For 4 years and 8 months, he has good terms with army. And he has a democratic government. But unfortunately, he has failed to perform. He was, could not fulfill hopes of Pakistanis and everybody, whatever they were expecting, a good change in Pakistan, a prosperous country, different, the promises he has made with the nation for 1 key job, 8 crore jobs and 50 lakh homes and all these things. And he could not perform accordingly. So definitely they have to, the Shehbaz Sharif government will have to move according to right policies which are in favor of Pakistan related to economy, their foreign policy, diplomatic relationships with other countries and all. But the army is supporting Pakistan as always. Army is in favor of a prosperous Pakistan, and Shehbaz Sharif believes in taking everybody along. You can see the alliance he has made with opposition parties. They have forget all the past issues, whatever the thinking they have between each other. Now they are on one page. They want to work for Pakistan. So we should focus on that, how they are moving. Of course, this is very challenging because, all the parties which are in alliance right now for making this comment, they have very different ideologies. They have very different backgrounds. So
right.
To ask it on one page, and it will be very challenging for Shehbaz Sharif to take everybody along. Of course,
what's all the more challenging, yes, you'll have to take everyone along, but what's all the more challenging is your primary accusation against Imran Khan is that the country of Pakistan and its economy is now in doldrums. You'll have to pick that up. That's going to be your biggest task. Will Shehbaz Sharif be able to do that? Will he manage that Herculean task in front of him? That's the question. But instead of speaking on the economy, Sadia Khan, we heard Shehbaz Sharif, even before he took over as the Prime Minister of Pakistan, that's possibly going to happen tomorrow where he'll be voted in. Even before that happens, he's spoken about Kashmir and he says Kashmir's solution will be his first on the agenda, his first issue to resolve on the agenda. Is that what you're looking as your first duty as he takes on?
Well, this is not a total focus on Kashmir. He has given a statement and a reply to the question he has been asked about. Now, of course, Kashmir is a bone of contention between both countries, India and Pakistan. And because of Kashmir and many other issues, leaders from both sides, they could not sit on table. They could not have bilateral talks with each other. Prime Minister of both countries, they could not sit with each other. There's no counterpart level talks. So Shehbaz Sharif is on, of course, he is on that page that both leaders from India and Pakistan, they should sit on a table. They should discuss all the things which cannot go along with both countries. We have suspended trade between each other. We have suspended games. We have suspended arts. All these things should be allowed. Let the people meet. Let the games happen. Let the artists meet. We should go for a normal relationship with each other. So the media should not take his statement in wrong point. Whatever the possible solution for a problem
we of course are as sensitive or maybe more emotional about Kashmir. No matter what comes from Pakistan over Kashmir, it's going to really lead us to take absolute, we are going to be on high alert and we'll take absolute caution on every word that's coming in from Pakistan on Kashmir. So, we will take it seriously. undoubtedly what's coming from Shehbaz Sharif is going to be a matter of concern and a great attention from the side of India, undoubtedly. So expect that. But Fareed Malik, at a time like this, here is Shehbaz Sharif, who's now who's possibly going to be voted in as the Prime Minister of Pakistan in just a day's time. In about 24 hours, we'll know. But Shehbaz Sharif, would you believe, is going to be perfectly aligned with the Pakistan army? Because we know that Imran Khan has fallen out. Imran Khan had fallen out of favor from the army of Pakistan, and it appears that the support of the army has now shifted. Do you think Shehbaz is the new point person for the army now?
This is the biggest joke coming from PML-N. PML-N is unique in many ways. It's a product of the military gate number 4 of GHQ. They emerged from there. Then Nawaz Sharif has had problems with every army chief that he has dealt with. Starting from Asif Nawaz Janjua, he fired 2 army chiefs, Jahangir Karamat and Pervez Musharraf. This is the biggest joke. And in every public meetings, they have been talking against the armed forces. They've been openly talking against the armed forces. But his kid brother, on the other hand, has been licking their boots. So there is a lot of dichotomy in this family. When it comes to personal interest, they lick the boots. When it doesn't suit them, they challenge them and they fire them. They contest with them. Imran Khan, last word, very dignified as the army is concerned. He said army is the backbone of Pakistan. That's very true. Army is our backbone. They have to provide security. They have a role to play, but they should remain within their own domain. And currently, as I understand, army is scheduled to remain neutral. They're not opening all the dirty files of PML-N and People's Party, and that has given them a new boost of life. Once the army and the intelligence starts opening those dirty files, these people have nowhere to stand. They are thugs, thieves, money launderers, and they will be booted out in no time. So they have no popularity, no support, and this lip service to Kashmir will not go anywhere, though it's good. Kashmir is a bone of contention between India and Pakistan and must be settled. The Kashmiris have to decide the future of Kashmir. We strongly support that. We will fight for the Kashmir cause. The Kashmir issue should be settled, but I don't think PML-N can do that. PML-N has very poor relations with the military. Either they lick their boots or they abuse them. There is no rational leadership. There is no rational relationship between PML and the armed forces of Pakistan.
All right.
For that matter, their only focus has always been on making money. And I've repeatedly said, Asif Zardari has played very smartly. He has exposed PML-N to the hilt. And once the dust settles down, only 2 leaders will emerge, Imran Khan and Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, the 2 political leaders who don't have cases against them. All others will be booted out. PML-N will be out. Most of his leadership are facing serious charges of corruption, and they have no legs to stand upon. And they'll be history very soon.
All right, Fareed Malik, and as per your words, you all are going to go ahead with this protest that's going to be happening at 9 p.m. tonight. That's Pakistan time, 9 p.m. There's going to be a massive protest in support of Imran Khan and condemning the opposition dethroning Imran Khan in such a fashion. We're going to see what happens on that. Let's just hope it's not a law and order situation, because if it is, then Imran Khan has got to take responsibility for that. But thank you very much, Fareed Malik, for joining us along with Sadia Khan. We're going to continue keeping the spotlight on the kind of chaos that's unfolding in Pakistan. For now, it's a wrap. Thank you for watching.